In the 2018 fiscal year budget proposed by Donald Trump, the Institute of Museum and Library Services is losing all funding and being disbanded. This institute was the primary source of government funding for many of the museums throughout the United States, and its loss is a hit to natural history museums, aerospace museums, art museums, and cultural museums throughout the nation. However, other actions that he has taken impact paleontology, the main focus of this channel, even harder. Today we're going to look into this and see why Donald Trump hates dinosaurs. On top of the cuts to the IMLS, the National Science Foundation has seen an 11% decrease in the amount of funding it's receiving compared to 2016. In addition, this is to other limitations that have been placed on what those funds can be spent on. Paleontology is already an underfunded science, and so with these cuts and these restrictions, it's becoming even harder for researchers to get the grants that they need to continue their research. These funding cuts make it less likely that museums will be able to stay open and educate the public, and make it less likely that scientists will be able to make a living off their degrees and continue their research into paleontology. The budget cuts also show the Trump administration's lack of investment and understanding in the sciences of this planet, and how we can apply that to prevent extinctions in the modern day. Last year, paleontologists from the Grand StaircaseEscalante monument in southern Utah made headlines as a nearly complete tyrannosaur was airlifted out of the monument. This is just one of many significant finds, with additional species like Diabloceratops, Gryptosaurus, and Lythronax also coming from this monument. Since the year 2000, over 25 different species of dinosaurs have been found in the monument, and that's in addition to other species, such as the pig-nosed turtle Arvenchalis, or Peronyctoides, one of the first mammals to give live birth. Dr. Scott Sampson has called Grand StaircaseEscalante the last great, largely unexplored dinosaur fossil bed in the lower 48 states. The actions put forward by President Trump directly hinder the study of Grand StaircaseEscalante Park and the nearby Bears Ears Monument. Grand StaircaseEscalante will be reduced by 47% in size, and Bears Ears by 85%. Additionally, fossil fuel companies will become allowed to start drilling and mining on the opened lands, potentially damaging fossils with heavy equipment. The reduction in sizes happening at Grand Escalante and Bears Ears National Monuments would have tangible effects on paleontology. Paleontologist Robin O'Keefe has said that the reduction in size would completely destroy his Utah research program. Any fossils that he would find outside of the boundaries would become open game for anything to destroy, like mining companies or vandals. The budget cuts could also lead to fewer park rangers in the monuments, potentially opening a way for fossil poachers or vandals to enter the parks. This formation falls in the tens of millions of years leading up to the KPG mass extinction, which killed off the dinosaurs. Because of this, its study is even more important, as it can help us understand how to prevent future extinctions from happening. Scientifically significant fossils found in public lands have only been protected by law since 2009, and this bill still faces opposition from private fossil collectors. There has already been legal battles fought over fossils in the United States. In 2012, Eric Prokopi was arrested for smuggling a tyrannosaur skeleton to the US from Mongolia. A South Dakota man faced years of legal troubles after finding a tyrannosaur. The find was initially believed to be on private land, but was later found to be on public lands belonging to the nearby town. The ensuing legal battle lasted over 11 years and cost many thousands of dollars. The black market for fossils is well known and profitable. In 2013, the find of 2 Dinosaur skeletons was announced to the public. Previously known only by the arms, these finds were still missing significant portions due to fossil poaching. The feet, hands, and the skulls were missing. However, over the next year, fossil vendors found the skulls in Germany and were able to return them to the skeletons. It had been found that the skulls were sold to a buyer in Japan, who then resold them in Germany before they were finally discovered by paleontologists. Money left at the poached site indicates that it was probably taken in the year 2002, meaning there was a 12-year gap before any paleontologist could actually see the skulls that had been discovered and were completely new to science. In 2015, Nicolas Cage was asked by the Mongolian government to return a skull of a Tarbosaurus that he had purchased in 2007 for $276,000. The money to be made from the fossil market is real and is significant. However, the damage to science is also significant. In fact, it's so significant that it led to the naming of one species. A fossil skull found in the 1990s by fossil poachers had forged elements of it, as the poachers had added to the skull using plaster to try to make the specimen appear larger and therefore more valuable. The difficulty in preparing the specimen through all of the extra plaster led to its name, with the authors writing that the name Irritator challengeri comes from the irritation we felt, understated here. The cuts to museum funding hinders the ability for these museums to stay competitive in the modern-day fossil market, limiting significant fines to private collections, such as Darwinius, which was discovered in 1983 but not revealed to science until the late 2000s. The lack of security offered by the Trump administration also allows a rise in vandalism in the parks. In Bears Ears, 24 people have already been arrested for taking Native American artifacts from the grounds. And in Grand Staircase, this could lead to the destruction of fossils, as happened with an Australian dinosaur track last year. The track was found broken and smashed by hammer and chisel. Workers at the Victoria Museum hope to be able to reassemble it, but it's already been destroyed. It's no longer where it was meant to be, and it's out of context, destroying what was once known about how it fit into the story of life. Trump's changes to the national park system leaves the over 260 national parks and monuments with fossils in them at the peril of poachers, meaning fossils could be lost for decades. By allowing the entrance of fossil fuel companies and vandals, they could be lost forever. The first step is, if you're a collector, buy legal fossils. Mongolia, China, Morocco, and Argentina all have limitations on what fossils can be bought and sold. So make sure if you're buying a fossil from these areas that it is legal under the laws of their country. 2. If you are a major collector of fossils, please invite scientists to come and look and study your fossils. Nicolas Cage is still rumored to have a large collection. So, Mr. Cage, if you're listening, please call your local natural history museum. I am sure that they would love to speak with you. Thirdly, donate to your local natural history museums. Keep the sciences alive. Keep the prolonging and understanding of our place in the planet alive and how we can prevent extinctions from that. Most politically, support the lawsuit put forward by 5 Native American tribes and various environmental groups for the violation of the 1909 Antiquities Act. In addition, call your representatives and try and convince them to continue voting in the support of science. And then 5th, and this one is time sensitive, the Bureau of Land Management has opened comments on their website in order to understand public perception on how the dealings with Bears Ears and Grand Staircase Escalante should be dealt with. Link below, please comment and encourage them to hold out and wait for these lawsuits to be completed before they start taking any action in reducing the size of monuments. And again, this one is time sensitive. From the day this video goes up, there are approximately 30 days left to fill out your comments. Again, link below. Whether you are for or against Trump, the study and science provided by our public lands is invaluable. We cannot allow these to be lost by poaching, vandalism, and mining. Please take any action you can to continue the advancement of science and paleontology in the United States. Everyone, this is very important to me because it does impact paleontology so much, and as much as I would like to not get political on the channel, this is something, again, where it has very tangible consequences for the field of paleontology and making sure we're able to learn as much as we can about our world and the history of our world. And so comment below if you want to say something, but try not to get it too political other than the immediate impacts of Trump's actions on paleontology. Be kind to each other, be safe, don't go extinct, take care.